HOA cops aimed guns at a black army general. He took them down with federal backup. The sun beat down on Karens town square, a sleepy place where the biggest scandals usually involved misplaced recycling bins. Today, though, the air crackled with something darker. General Marcus Wright, a decorated black army officer, stood at the center of it all, his dress uniform crisp despite the heat. He'd come to Karen to visit his aging mother, not to make history. But history had a way of finding him. It started with a call to the HOA's private security self-styled cops, who patrolled the gated community with more bravado than training. Someone had reported a suspicious man walking through the neighborhood. That man was Marcus, strolling to the corner store for his mother's favorite tea. Within minutes, 3 officers led by Tom Hargrove, a burly ex-deputy with a chip on his shoulder, had him cornered. Their guns were drawn, their voices loud enough to draw a crowd. "Hands up! Now!" Hargrove barked, his finger twitching near the trigger. Marcus didn't flinch. "I'm a U.S. Army general," he said, voice steady as steel. "Lower your weapons." The crowd murmured, phones raised to capture the scene. Hargrove sneered. "General or not, you're out of place here." The words hung heavy, laced with a venom that made the onlookers shift uncomfortably. Marcus's eyes narrowed, but he kept his hands visible, palms open. He knew the game knew how quickly this could end in blood. The standoff stretched on, seconds feeling like hours. Then came the twist no one saw coming. Sarah Gwynn, a quiet librarian who'd lived in Karen for years, pushed through the crowd. She was trembling, her phone clutched tightly, but her voice rang out. "I called them," she admitted, tears streaming down her face. I thought he was someone else. I'm so sorry." The confession stunned the crowd. Sarah, known for her kindness, had been the one to spark this nightmare, misled by a neighbor's vague warning about strangers. Her guilt shifted the air, turning whispers into gasps. Marcus's gaze softened for a moment, but he didn't speak. He couldn't afford to. Hargrove, sensing the crowd's wavering loyalty, doubled down. "Doesn't change a thing. He's not one of us," he shouted, stepping closer. That was his mistake. Marcus had already made a call during his walk, a discreet one, to a federal contact in D.C. He'd hoped it wouldn't come to this, but men like Hargrove rarely backed down. The sound of rotors cut through the tension. 2 Black Hawk SUVs rolled into the square, followed by a sleek helicopter landing in the distance. Federal agents, badges gleaming, stepped out, their presence silencing even Hargrove's bluster. The lead agent, Captain Elena Torres, approached with a cold authority. "Stand down, Hargrove," she ordered. "You're detaining a national security officer on baseless grounds." The cops hesitated, then lowered their guns, faces flushed with defeat. The crowd erupted, some cheering, others muttering about government overreach. Marcus didn't smile. He thanked Torres quietly, then turned to Sarah, who stood frozen, her face a mask of regret. "Mistakes happen," he said gently, "but they cost." He glanced at the crowd, his voice rising just enough to carry. "This isn't about me. It's about what you let fear do to you. Who's next time?" The feds escorted Hargrove and his men away, their vehicles kicking up dust as they left. Marcus walked back to his mother's house, the crowd parting silently. Sarah stayed behind, staring at the wooden bulletin board where someone had pinned a note about the confrontation. Her confession had exposed the town's underbelly, its quickness to judge, its fragile trust. Hours later, Marcus sat with his mother, her frail hands pouring tea. "You didn't have to do all that," she said softly. He shook his head. "I did, Mama. For you. For all of us." But the victory felt hollow. Hargrove would face charges, but the town's wounds wouldn't heal overnight. Sarah's mistake, born of fear, had nearly cost him his life. And Karen, for all its manicured lawns, was a microcosm of a bigger, uglier divide. The next morning, Marcus left town, his uniform packed away. He'd won, but at what price? The crowd's cheers had faded, replaced by uneasy silence. Sarah quit her job at the library, unable to face the whispers. And the bulletin board note, now viral online, sparked debates that raged for weeks. Was Marcus a hero or a threat? Was Sarah a villain or a victim? Was Hargrove a bigot or just a man doing his job? The questions lingered, unanswered, as Karen grappled with its shame. One thing was clear. Fear had pulled the trigger long before the guns were drawn. What do you think, was justice served? Or did fear win in the end? Share your view.